Croissant all, and welcome to the Fearless in Devotion podcast, the podcast brought to you by the Fat Boar Bar and Restaurant. You join us in the immediate aftermath of our ninth, that's correct, I just said our ninth game unbeaten. I'm joined here by Tim. Tim, what did you make of that result?
I mean, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. I mean, but whichever way you look at it, we got away with a point. I know there's a few people saying that it could have gone either way, but on the balance of play, Arthur was the busiest keeper by some distance. Let's not make any bones about it. But I keep saying this, and it's tried and tested. If you can't play amazingly, don't lose.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And I know people are saying, oh, if only we converted these draws into wins, but we're still only 3 points off where we all dreamed we never would be.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Like we're miles ahead of where we ever thought we would be because of the insane amount of changeover in the summer. And I think we're in a position now where the club have kind of allowed us to eradicate all excuses. Like, don't worry about the. We could have said, oh, yeah, it's going to take time. And it did take a bit of time to gel. But I'll be honest, I think it's gelled a lot quicker than maybe it was expecting to.
Yeah.
But I think that is testament again to the management, the environment they're creating there at the club, and the players are buying into that philosophy and that idea that if you're going to come in, and I think Parky alluded to it in his comments this week, that anybody who's not in the squad, his biggest challenge as a manager is to keep everybody happy. I think it's probably the biggest challenge of any manager with a sizable squad. And it would seem from the outside looking in, he's keeping everybody happy. The ones that aren't playing, get behind the lads that are playing, and you will get your chance. We've seen it already this season that when injuries bite, players get a chance, even if they've been injured or whatever, they're still getting that chance. Thomason got his chance, has taken it. That will be the same with Ollie Rathbone. It may well be the case that Rodriguez has a part to play in the months to come, from January. So I'm delighted, mate. Nine unbeaten. I know there's nine draws in the course of the championship season so far, and in this nine unbeaten run, is it five wins, four draws? Is that right? I
Yeah, I
think.
think that's right. Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on. If you'd have said before that spell, what would you have taken? We all almost certainly would have said we'll take less than that.
Oh,
When you
completely.
look at the
Yeah.
opposition, and I just think I think we're at a point now where you go we're over the quarter of the season mark, and I think there's elements of us, if I'm honest, where we're expecting something to drop off or expecting it to go wrong, and the only real kind of a damp squib for me and probably you and many others was the Cardiff defeat.
Completely.
Really,
Yeah. Well, that was the
maybe.
turning point, wasn't it? That was the everything after that's been been fine.
Yeah, and I think maybe you look at it and it's easy to say now that it's a blessing in disguise, but I think Parky probably learned a lot more about his squad from that game. I know people
Yeah.
say, "Oh yeah, Parky played a team to lose it." Nah, come on, I'm not buying that. He's not a manager that picks a team to lose games.
Not purposely, no. Not
No,
purposely
God
whatsoever.
no, not a chance. Um, so yeah, I'm just delighted. I'm delighted with the way things are ticking over. I'm liking the fact that we're hard to beat. I'm liking the fact that we're not here to make it the numbers, and I'm liking the fact that we're pissing off every fan base.
Worst team to ever come here.
Worst team this century. How
That
dare they
is.
come here and parky the bus and take the point? How dare they?
There's been a
Shocking.
well, there's only been a quarter of a century for starters. We're 2025, so it's not really the full gamut of the century yet to pick from. And I bet there's been worse. I bet there's been teams they've thumped 5-0 or something like that. And then we go and draw there, and now we're the worst team.
No, and
It's
like, and like I'm sure I'll be taken to task for this comment. I'm sure they'll tell me in the comments, but I genuinely feel that because of where we've come from and where we are now, I think that it gives us a larger degree of groundedness. That's not a word, as
Yeah,
such. But what I'm trying to say is, you'll get a lot of fans who are quite reactive to games. We're all fairly reactive for the most part. But to say that Wrexham are the shittest club ever to come in, like it's frustration because they can't figure out how to beat us.
yeah.
All right,
We're hard to beat.
yeah, and I think they're not used to seeing a team that maybe play like we do in the sense that we come here to frustrate. Maybe we did not win anywhere near enough as we have done in other games, such as Norwich as an example, and that their frustration comes through in their tweets and their message and so on and so forth. But I like to think that Wrexham fans as a fan base are quite grounded and measured in the way we respond. Like if we go somewhere, let's say I don't want to tempt fate. Let's just say we went anywhere and we got walloped 5-0. There would be no sugarcoating that. If we went somewhere and we lost 2-1 and we didn't fashion many chances, we wouldn't sugarcoat it that much. So I
No.
just think I just think that I think because of the journey we've been on, I think it just allows us a bit more leeway in how we uh, put across our
Yeah.
thoughts on a game. I think when you're a die-in-the-wool hardened championship team that are expected to beat the likes of Wrexham on their home patch, having already lost to us in the Carabao Cup this season, lest we forget, with
There's
Ryan
been
Hardy's solo wonder strike.
there's been some really odd like moans this week, like even from our own fans. Like I saw yesterday the figure, the 3,300 traveling fans figure, and I was blown away
Yeah.
when I saw that. And then I went on, I don't know if it was Twitter or read
Is
Passion
that
Summer's.
Aiden Sunday put something like it was tragic, I think. But to his credit, he's even said, I
When
think he
have we
posted.
when have we historically, other than FA Cup games and maybe the Halifax game in the National League season, but other than that, when do we take that sort of
No,
following
and I
anywhere?
think I think he's put in his defense, he's put like that was a tweet that you file under stupid things to tweet, and we've all been there. I've
Oh
been there.
yeah, yeah. But no,
And
to be honest, I saw a few. He wasn't the only one by any stretch
yeah,
whatsoever.
but that away end at Preston is huge,
Yeah,
huge, huge stand. But to take 3,500 anywhere, I don't care whether it's 5 miles away or 500 miles away. You take 3,500 anyway. That's great, man. That's great. You should tip your cap to that and go, that is really good.
yeah.
That is really because you won't find, especially not UK based, you won't find many bigger away attendances this weekend,
No,
if at all. So
I don't
and
care if there was a few thousand more on sale. I couldn't give a crap.
yeah, no, I try and I've tried. One of my cardinal rules, or cardinals, not cardinal rules. One of my rules this season is try to not get embroiled in kind of crowd attendance
Yeah,
arguments. There's no point. Like whether you're Fleetwood, right? I think Fleetwood have been mocked recently for taking something like 40 fans or less than that to an away game at I think it might be at MK Dons. Who cares, man? You should applaud that.
I respect those
40
40
people.
fans. I
Yeah.
respect those 40.
Yeah,
So,
100%. And something came up, I think it was on one of the Wrexham fan account, Torquay. I think it might have been about a decade ago now. And 100 fans went. Yeah.
well
And
done.
like, well, exactly. But people will go, oh, well, you only had 100 fans there. Well, it's fucking Torquay on a Tuesday night, mate. What do you expect?
Jesus, that is a honking journey as well.
It's a long
That is a
journey.
honking journey.
We probably didn't have a great team. And people need to, you dial it back and you go, you can be the most diehard in the world, but ultimately, not everybody's like that. People will go, I want to go when they're playing well, or I want to go when I've maybe not got much else to do. So,
Yeah,
but 3,500 in any respect, in anywhere, is ridiculously good. And I'm delighted if everybody went and proud of everybody went because that's a mad away from. If you'd have told us that, several years ago, we'd be getting 3,500 for an away game. I genuinely think if Preston were in League Two, let's say it's a League Two game, we'd still
yeah,
take the same amount
yeah,
or not far
yeah,
off it.
yeah.
Convinced of that, 100%. But there we are.
No, so bravo to all those who went. Tim, I've seen uh, a shirt hanging in the background in your room, Mister.
I'm keepers union today. I've got my signed Callum Burton bad boy uh the Gresford disaster shirt on. We just about see it. I've got my cameras all wrong today. Um, yeah, Arthur when he was a 33 before he became number one. I mean, where do you begin? I'll let you. I've spoken a lot. What do you think of his performance today?
It's just pretty
Yeah,
heroic, to be
I'm
honest.
going to
Like,
say cheers to that performance. I don't
cheers
normally
to
drink
Arthur.
wine, but I'm on one. It's been a bit of a testing week, so apologies.
But no, it's just a heroic performance from Arthur. Really, I saw the double save that he made, which was outstanding.
Ugh,
First, I wouldn't necessarily say easy, but the second one was the really good one in that sequence, and just continues to really impress. I think that again, bit of a moan shouldn't be a moan. I'm in a positive mindset, but something that annoys me is like fans always digging out Arthur's weaknesses. It's like, oh, he's not the best at kicking. He's blah. And I'm like, but in terms of keeping the fucking ball out of the net, he's the best we'll come on to this debate, but I think you can say the best we've had, certainly in my memory of supporting Wrexham. I mean, I think he was the first keeper I ever saw playing golf for Wrexham, probably Kevin Dearden or someone like that.
wow. Yeah.
So when you think about it over the years, yeah, we've had some decent, solid keepers over the years, like likes of Rob Lainton and people like that. Foster's a hard one to sort of put into that because I think he played relatively so few games. If you're talking about keepers where we've had a good chance to assess them over a period of time, I mean, Arthur's our man of the match today. We don't win. We don't get a point without him in that match, and it's as simple as that. So. What are your views though in terms of where he stands in the sort of the list of goalkeepers we've had?
Well, first of all, I did my sort of usual routine patrol of X to see how the Preston fans reacted to that game. Amongst all the groans about the referee and Wrexham being absolutely the worst team of the century to visit Deepdale, there were several people praising Arthur Okonkwo's performance. And if you get several home fans praising an away team goalkeeper's performance, you kind of know that that was pretty good. It's pretty up there. You got to be. I mean, it's hard pressed to get any home fan to praise an individual performance of an away keeper. So, uh, I mean, just you mentioned there the double save, mate. I've watched it back several times. He just knows where it's going because he's made that initial save, which is a reaction stop, and people will really dig down and say, "Oh, he should have caught it. He should." Come on,
No,
you
that's
don't
the
know
other
where it's
one.
going.
That's the other
Um,
one. Yeah.
but when it bounces back out, he's already made his mind up where that player is going to try and put it. He could have made himself look ridiculously stupid if he decides to chip it then to the far post and put it in. The fact he's got the courage of his convictions to make that decision early in a split second heat of the moment situation is just testament to him. But in answer to your question, we've had so many good goalkeepers long before your and my time, way, way, way down the track, and there'll be people who have seen Wrexham for a lot longer than you and I who will say this person was far better, or that person was far better, and that's fair enough, and it's all subjective. Um, and you know me, I'm like a Andy Marriott super fan, loved him, just loved the way he was, and yeah, I don't think we'll ever get a true indication of how many points he had earned or so many good games he had because a lot of those performances have been committed to VHS and have never really seen the light of day on YouTube. Maybe that's something that can be rectified in future. But
I think Brian Flynn blocked them from going on YouTube.
yeah, yes, Brian Flynn is the YouTube czar. It's like we can't have any Andy Marriott material on here. But I mean, we've had a lot of good goalkeepers in recent years. If we're really honest, we've had some decent goalkeepers. Um, but you kind of mark the level of where we're at. And we've had some great goalkeepers, the sort of Rob Laintons and stuff. Forget the injury issues. Yeah, Rob Lainton was a very good goalkeeper at that level. And as we've moved up, it's easy to say now, but signing Arthur was an investment for the here and now and the future. He has just grown level to level, and it feels like yesterday where he had that stinker at Salford where pretty much dropped two under his bar, and it
Yeah.
was a nightmare game for him. It was a nightmare return for Luke Bolton. It was just a bad day all round. And you compare that to where he's at now. It's just chalk and cheese. He's so good, so assured in his displays. And I think it gives the defense, aren't the entire team, a massive, massive leg up to say, you know what, if they do get through to us, you've got to beat that man. You
Yeah.
have to beat that man there. And I think Andy Murrell mentioned in commentary today that they talked about his wingspan, like he's some sort of giant eagle, and he's massive. Like when you think of a goalkeeper, you mentioned earlier Kevin Dearden. With the greatest respect to Kevin Dearden, right? If you didn't know Kevin Dearden was a goalkeeper beforehand, you met the guy in the street and you asked him, "What do you do for a job?" You would never have guessed in a million years he would have said goalkeeper. That's no disrespect to Kevin Dearden because he was a
No,
very good keeper for us on his day, of which he had many. But he didn't really look a goalkeeper in the
no,
sense of what you would expect a goalkeeper to look like, whereas Arthur does. You know, so many. It's just his general presence. Presence is key as a goalkeeper. It's just his overall size. He's got. He's. I think he's become more and more commanding as the games pass by. I just think his confidence is growing, and why wouldn't it? The sort of
yeah,
performances he's putting in, it's naturally his confidence is going to grow. Um, and people will still pull up on certain negatives of his game, but like you just said, if he keeps the ball at the back of the net, I don't care where he puts that ball. I
yeah.
don't care if he kicks it out of play. I don't care if he kicks it into touch. Is
It's
that the game we're trying to play? I don't really know.
it's like I think people just expect like a keeper now to be able to land it on a striker's foot and then they score straight away. And I just, I just think if he's doing the main thing that what as Roy Keane would say, that's his job to
Exactly.
keep the ball out of the net. I couldn't give a crap. And also, I've heard people even criticize him for being too relaxed, but I like that in a goalkeeper. I like his calm, relaxed presence, and I'd imagine his defenders do too, actually.
Well, I mean, this was one of my gripes, and I think we might have alluded to the last podcast where I said that I think Max said in his post-match presser from the last game that Arthur's just cool. He doesn't panic. He doesn't shout. So, what's to say that those elements, as part of a goalkeeper in the modern game, aren't right for the game you're trying to play? We talk about goalkeepers that rant and rave and they're a little bit furious, but then I'm trying to think of goalkeepers that did that, or goalkeepers that are calm and collected. And I kind of, for some bizarre reason, I randomly plucked David Seaman out of my head. Like he would
Oh
rant and
yeah, he was
rave
a
when
very
he
placid
needed
man,
it.
wasn't
He was
he?
quite placid, but
Yeah,
a very, very good goalkeeper, international goalkeeper.
yeah.
Had the greatest, worst ponytail and mustache combo you've ever seen in your life since sort of what, Darius Dinesh? Did he have a tash at the time? I
I,
can't remember.
I mean, I'd say Siemens was the worst, just the worst ever for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, but maybe it's a shit example. I'm sure that people in the comments will say, but I just that one just sprang to mind where I thought, well, he wasn't a ranter or a raver, but he's a very good goalkeeper.
Yeah,
So just because you're a goalkeeper doesn't automatically mean ranting and raving at your defense means you're going to get that extra edge. I don't think it really is a
no,
key
I don't think
attribute these
so.
days.
I feel like I say, I think it just gives the back line that bit of assuredness. I think knowing that. I mean, they were after the. I think it was after the double save. The players were all over him, high fiving him and stuff like that. Windass was sharing a picture of Arthur after the match with flames and stuff like that. So they clearly appreciate what he's done
Mate, he's,
for
he's,
the
he's
team against Preston today.
he and again, you look at today's like, oh well. There's another player of the season to contender straight off the bat.
Yeah,
100%. He's
yeah.
just, we were under the cosh today for large periods and he just stood up to the test. And like when that goal went in, I was like, oh, are people going to ping him for that because he's got beaten at his near post? But it's a good
Depends what the shot's
strike.
like, doesn't it? Yeah, if it's a good, I mean, the near post thing, like I get it, but if it's a good strike at your near post and you're trying to cover the whole goal,
Yeah.
it,
Because
yeah,
that guy could have cut it back.
yeah,
And the anticipation is there. And if the anticipation is there from your goalkeeper, that's all you can ask for. If he
yeah,
if he stood flat footed and not really anticipating where it's going to go, then we probably lose that game if we go back to that double
yeah.
save. It's as simple as that. But and we mentioned saves. Was it Barnett? I think with that kind of like uh sort of the power of the header was taken off it, where their keeper scampers over and claws it away.
Yeah,
But I think various people have said, if you take the your kind of preferred side out of it, that was a blood and thunder old
yeah.
school game in a piss down wet rain.
Could have
And
been a 4
sometimes you
all,
can,
frankly.
yeah, sometimes you're not just battling the opponent, you're battling the elements. And I think we've done all right there. I think we've done all right there. It's come away with a point. It's
Yeah.
very, very good. It's very good.
Talking about a man that Andy Gilpin loves to hate. So I was on a Merseyrail service somewhere today, and weirdly, like me and my lad were just stood right next to this group of 4 people, and all of a sudden I heard Kiefer Moore's scored. Kiefer Moore's scored. There's like a group of 4 or 5 Wrexham fans. I was like, oh yes. But the provider, James McClean, cuts in on his right foot. Doesn't usually do that, to be fair to him. He
No.
usually goes on his left and whips in a
Yeah.
decent ball. Defense at sort of sixes and sevens, and then all Moore has to do is tap it in. But speaking about McLean specifically, I think since he's come back into things, he looks at it again. Andy won't give him any credit for us. I think he was been swearing about him over in Australia or somewhere, isn't he? Probably.
Oh yeah, I mean he's on his toes again, Gilpin. He's just got back from Tokyo. Now he's buggered off to Australia. Or was it vice versa? I can't keep up with him. He's like Alan Wicker. For those who might not know who Alan Wicker is, Google it. Andy Gilpin is merely a football podcast version of Alan Wicker. But yeah, he's run away from McLean again. But I love the fact that Mac has like been fuming about the idea he's not had much game time, and he's come back in and go, well, to quote Aaron McClean from yesteryear, good luck shifting him now because I mean, we all know he's a very good player, very experienced player. Um, and he struggled a little bit in the last game, struggled a little bit against Blackburn Rovers because their guys on him
Yeah,
was a tough test. But again, Mac is just I don't know. He's just repelling time. He's repelling time and saying, "I'm good enough at this level. I've played this level before, and despite my advancing years, I'm good enough to play in it now." And he's
yeah,
proven that. And that ball in today, it's such a hard ball to defend against. It's the way it's angled and the pace on it. It's not too much that you
yeah,
end up going straight out for a goal kick. It's not floated either. It's somewhere in between. It's just a little bit of pace on it, and if it's headed out, you're probably only heading it to the edge of the 18-yard box at the most. So it's such a great ball in, and that is the sort of delivery that you expect James McClean to provide you with. So I'm delighted for him. I'm delighted that, again, coming back to what I said at the start of this pod, in the sense that trying to keep all these players happy and being able to step up when the need arises and put in the sort of performances that we expect and want from a Wrexham team. It's massive. It's massive. And Parky was buzzing in his presser again. He was like, they've all stepped up tonight and really put in a sort of performance worthy of the badge. And I love it. I love it. We were close to Christmas, and he's coming out with all this kind of Braveheart shit. It's like fucking right. Let's have another go. We're in a handy little pocket just below the playoffs. We got a Hull in next week, who are 3 places above and 1 point more. I mean, it's all there, isn't it? It's all there. It's all there to kind of really have a good go.
yeah,
Nobody
yeah, completely.
expected that, and nobody. So Sean Harvey said it best when we had him on the pod earlier on the season. It is a season of free hits, and I think it still is,
Yeah.
despite where we are. I think it still is. It's like, you know what? Nobody expected us to be here, so let's crack on. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I had this sort of feeling, like when people like Kabore got injured, I was like, if we can see out the period after that where you're sort of not your talisman, but your player that gets the crowd up on their feet, if
Yeah,
we can survive that period where he's out and keep getting points on the board, not just him, Kakache and players like that as well. If we can just get through to January, a decent points total on the board, and then you start to look at your transfers, and we all know the owners, well, I'm assuming the owners aren't just going to rest on their laurels. I think if we can get through to that period, the playoffs are a real possibility, and that in itself is is very, very exciting in our first season in the Championship. Well, second tier for 43 years. I don't think anyone thought, we honestly thought in their heart of hearts we'd be in this position. And grisly draws like today's against Preston,
Mm.
I'll take them all day if it means we just carry on that run.
Draws like today are what um, successful campaigns are built on. They really are. They really are. Yes, it's nice to sort of get a good, nice, handsome victory at home, but when you go away, you have to adapt and you have to change the way you play for the most part, for whatever reason. But I just think we finally found. I say finally, we're talking what 2 months in now.
Hmm.
This kind of like grit and determination to roll our sleeves and go, yeah, you know what? We're not just this Hollywood FC documentary, Rob and Ryan driven machine. We're here on merit. And they're really showing that now. They're really showing that. And I think the reason so many of the fan bases are pissed off about it is because they know we're showing it.
Yeah,
Because it doesn't lie. The table doesn't lie. The results don't lie. If it was a case of the referees giving us everything, we'd be top. So
yeah,
that's a redundant argument straight off the bat. I, I think these are the best times, mate. These are the best times, and they continue to be the best times. And everybody was expecting us to be giving us a rough ride this year, and it started off a little bit tetchy.
yeah,
Well, so what? Nobody didn't, but it came as no surprise to anybody. But beating Millwall, who were doing really, really well. Bristol City doing
yeah.
really well. You look at the teams we've picked off. You can't tell me Wrexham are not good enough for this division or not good to compete at the top end of this division because I think it's a fair. I think it's now a case in point where they can go, you know what, we are. We are. It's a fact. It is a fact. I just think we're now so hard to beat for the most part that none of us are talking about survival.
No.
Nobody's mentioned that probably since the early start of the season, first month of the season.
Yeah.
How much of a testament is that to what we've achieved since September, October time? It's just wild, mate. The fact that we've not mentioned that tells its own story, I think, by some margin.
So I don't know about you, but I've lost that feeling now. Like at the start of the season, I was a bit sort of overawed. Like I went to the first game away against Southampton, I was a bit like, bloody hell,
Yeah,
look at where we are, and almost a little bit of fear in there as well. And now, like traveling to Preston, were they fourth or fifth, I think,
yeah,
before the
fifth this
start of the
year.
game. And but I wasn't worried. I didn't think we're going to get a thump in here. I thought even if we lose, we'll be competitive, we'll be in the game. I just think I just don't have that fear factor anymore about, especially after the Coventry game and the likes of that. I've just completely lost. No, it's not like a complacency, but it's like I know even if we do lose, Wrexham are going to put in a good showing. We're going to look like we belong in this division, and
The,
that is again just as a concept is I think credit's got to be given to to Phil Parkinson. We all have our occasional wobbles, but that game today, in crap conditions where, something like the bounce of the ball could go against you and you come away with a point. I do enjoy that. I do enjoy that as a result. I know not everyone will, but it's like, oh yeah, okay. So I think Thomason went close at one point, probably should have put it in. I think that was another McClean cross. I'm sure someone said Longman went close as well, but missed a decent chance. I'm like, but it's all ifs and buts. If you go in ifs and buts, well, they could have had a glut of goals as well. So
mm.
no,
Well, I mean, that whole thing at the start was the fear of the unknown.
yeah,
Unknown territory for a start that none of us have ever experienced. For the most part, the vast majority of us will have never seen Wrexham at this level. And the secondly, going into it with a pot of players, we have no idea of how they're going to react to being part of this, how they're going to gel, how they're going to get on. Like I said at the very start of this, couldn't I couldn't connect with any of the players because there's so many new ones, and now it's completely different. You got your Kiefer Moores, you got your Sheaf, got like Dobson from last season has just stepped up to another level. We've got the Max continuation. We've got the Arthur. So we've got these staples from previous seasons. Added the sprinkling of the new players. Some have settled better than others. I don't think Broadhead is quite there yet in terms
No.
of settling fully and getting it. Um, but it's we're in the mix for the playoffs, for the championship going into Christmas. If you'd have said that at the start of the season, how many people would have said, "Yeah, I'll bite your hand off for that"? Everybody would have said it.
Yeah.
Everybody. So I think we're going to call this the Uber Positive Pod because I just fail to see like it's easy to concentrate on negatives, and we do as and when we need to when we feel it's truly justified. But you got to give them credit. You've got to give them credit. They dig in when it matters. They ride their luck when it matters, and they pounce when it matters. And yes, we could do with a little bit more up top, but
Yeah.
look, come on, we're doing all right. We're doing more than all right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Kiefer Moore's now on 8 goals. Is he? I haven't looked at the top.
10 for the season, eight for
Yeah.
eight late league to
So he's got to be up there in terms of, the
10 and
league top
18.
scorers, which is, that's just ridiculously good. And it was easy for him to fit in a way because he's Wales international, but it's more than just that. I feel like we fit him well, and he also suits us down to a T. And it's like I heard someone criticizing him on the radio. I can't remember who it was, one of the analyzers on there today, because it's like, oh, he should have gone on his right, and he's gone on his left. And I'm like, I don't mind. I don't expect him to take every chance. He's just been absolutely spot on. It's like I don't know what you think make of the draws thing. Yeah, people saying that we've drawn too many times. I think it's 9 in total so far this season. I'm relaxed about it because, as you said, if you can't win, take a point all day long, and it's just such a competitive division as well. I can see us adding up top in January. Even if it's like a deputy for Kiefer Moore, that type of thing. But that doesn't concern me too much. I'd be I do think if we can turn a couple of these into wins, then we'll be closer. We will be in the playoffs. But I don't know. I think I've gone too happy clappy lately. I'm just very relaxed about it all, very laid back.
Well, a lot of people have said, well, where's the plan B if Moore gets injured? But a lot of Moore's goals have been supplied by really good delivery.
Mm,
They have. I mean, the Coventry hat trick is an example of that.
yeah,
You
on a
know,
plate.
so so why can't that be done for Smith or whoever would need to step up? And it's hard to say at the moment because obviously Smith's not getting a massive run in the team. I dare say the FA Cup he might get that. We'll come to that in a minute because we're going into the third round automatically this season for the first time in my lifetime, which is wild. So I'll figure out who. I'll ask you who you think you would like to get in a bit. But mate, like I feel like a broken record, but everything is great. Everything is great. Everybody. I did a bit of digging before when Kiefer Moore got that goal. I thought, wow, that's 10 for the season now. 10 and 18, I think, in all competitions. Let's have a look at some of the messages on the Wrexham X tweet when they announced this signing. It is golden. So many golden, specifically from Sheffield United fans. We had the tried and tested when I'll drive him there if he signs prior to that, but people saying he's a donkey and a cart horse. Fucking hell, if a
No.
donkey and cart horse can get you 10 goals and 18, then, bring me another donkey, is all I'm saying in January. So whoever that may be, people don't realize that we focus on Parkinson as a manager, but he knows he wants to get. He
Yeah,
identifies players. He has his backroom team to say, look, this is who I want. Run the rule, see how you feel, and then let's come to a decision. I can't. I know the decision is his as final, but he consults people he trusts. And how many times has he got it right? 9 times out of 10. There'll
yeah,
be very few
totally.
players. You can probably count players on maybe one hand, two most, in his entire time with us where he thought that was a dud. He was a
Yeah.
dud. He doesn't very rarely gets it wrong.
It's like even where he has, in theory got it wrong, it's like a lot of people mention the Billy Waters one, but I think that was made out of a necessity of a worry that we would be seeing the end of the season out without Paul Mullin.
But
And he
again,
was
not a bad player, just not one that can go with us on this journey.
no, but he was more of a contingency planning
Yeah.
in that you don't want to go into the running in a title battle without a decent striker. So he brought him in as a plan B. Yeah, okay, it didn't work out, but you could see it. It's even people like Will Boyle. I don't necessarily think was the best signing, but do I think he was dreadful? No. Do I think he was a bad person to have around the place? No, not whatsoever. He's clearly got his good head on his shoulders, and he's helping Shrewsbury to drop down.
Good
No,
head
not
of
that's
hair
not
on his
down to Will
shoulders.
Boyle. That's not down to Will Boyle. But
The
you know what I mean.
the greatest glow up in the Hollywood era of Wrexham football club. It's unbelievable. Great.
You can see the lot. I can usually see the logic in a Parky signing. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Should we talk a bit about the cup draw?
Yeah, when is it? Monday. I believe it's Monday.
I'm just looking at Monday live on
Yeah.
TNT Sports.
Okay.
And it will start.
I think we're due a Premier League team.
We
I
are,
think we're
aren't we?
due one. So, right. So, give me your best, worst case scenario. I'm pretty sure you mentioned Shrewsbury. I'm sure they sneaked through against Sutton today. They went, but
Yeah, they
they
were
went
losing.
behind, and they scored a worldie in like added time or something, and then took the lead.
Yeah,
I'd have to
they
double
were
check.
losing at one point down to 10 men, but then I think Sutton also went to down to 10 and it finished 2-1 to Shrewsbury.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just having a look at the results now. Wow. Okay, some
Oh, there was
doozies
three
in
red
there.
cards. Sutton got two players sent off, sorry.
Wowzers. I mean, yeah. So, oh wow, Stockport got knocked out, so we can't have them without penalties. Um,
I really
Swindon
want
4-0 against Bolton. Ollie Palmer not on the score sheet. I don't know if he
I
played.
do really want the decent Premier League club, decent but also decent ground away day because I don't know about you, but when we went to Stoke in the Premier League, it was like it was good, great atmosphere, but I didn't think it was like the best ground or the best
Hmm.
away end. I'd just love to go somewhere like, the Spurs Stadium. Newcastle I'd enjoy, although you are a bit up in the gods, I think, the away fans. You're right in that top tier behind the
Yes.
goal,
Yeah. Yeah. You
which
need
isn't the
binoculars.
greatest, but it's just a place and a club that I'd quite like
Yeah.
to go to. Like Leeds is obviously one competitive fixtures wise we've
Hmm.
never played a
Yeah.
competitive fixture against.
Yeah. That was
So
a
that'd be
shout.
quite nice as well. Something about like everyone always says, "Oh, I want to get Man United at Old Trafford." I don't like that ground. I don't like that stadium. I just think it's a bit. I mean, we'd
Yeah.
probably beat
Yeah.
them, but
No, I mean, I know what you mean. I know. I mean, obviously, we played there many moons ago in the FA Cup after
yeah.
Cantona done his kung fu kick at Crystal Palace, and obviously wasn't free to play us that day, and we lost 5-2. Took the lead, but lost 5-2. I would like if I'm trying to be measured about it, I'd probably like in a weird way for it to kind of like come full circle. I think we're talking. I want to say 2011, 2012, we played
Yeah,
Brentford.
yeah,
The FA Cup, we won. It
yeah.
would be nice to go to Brentford now and their brand spanking new Dyson Hoover, whatever stadium it is. That
Has it
one.
got a pub on every corner?
It hasn't, no, but I've been past it and it looks all right. And I just think Brentford's one of those you think, you know what? They've done all right. They've gone through the leagues. They've gone up. They've more than held their own. It's like, yeah, let's try and do that. Let's try and
Yeah,
beat them. So a cheeky little London away day is never a bad thing. Newcastle would be amazing. Tottenham would be
yeah.
dreamy as well. Leeds, brilliant. How good would that be? But how are we going to end up with a reunion with Swindon or a disaster banana skin against Shrewsbury?
I I just think
uh,
even if you do, I mean that I think Parky would view that as a decent chance for progression to the next
yeah,
round.
I might. Strangely, I think the Cardiff defeat has kind of instilled a little bit of not instilled, but kind of battle hardened me to the idea of losing to a
Mm.
lower league team in a cup competition.
I couldn't do it to Shrewsbury though. Shrewsbury's the limit.
Yeah, that would be upsetting. But I mean, I just think the amount of times that we've been in the fourth qualifying round of the FA Cup to get to the first round, and here we are now automatically in the third round spot. This is one of the kind of the main pluses that being a championship side brings you, I guess,
Yeah,
of being able to go in there and we're no longer that lower league team looking for a big fish. We're now kind of well, we are a big fish in terms of, the pull and the surrounding aspects of the club and the profile and everything else. So I think whoever we get, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great. And, you just don't want to be losing to, I mean, who's in it? You don't want to be losing to Mo Fowler's Port Vale. You'd be cup tied. You don't want to lose to that. You don't want to lose to, I don't even know. And there's teams tomorrow. And Newport, if they got through at Boreham Wood, and we want to play them. I don't know. I think it's just nice to be in it at the third
yeah.
round stage and see what happens. But
Oh, and
we are we
bull
are
number
overdue. We're overdue a Premier League team,
we are
100%.
bull number 44 for those who will be watching. It's scheduled to start around 6:40 UK time. So it's going to be on TNT Sports and also on their YouTube channel.
All the
Hope,
fours, 44. That means who's fourth in the Premier League? Oh, Chelsea. Chelsea play Cardiff, don't they? Play the
yeah.
winner of Chelsea versus Cardiff. Can you imagine it? Fucking hell.
But I still love the FA Cup. I don't know if it's
I
just because
buzzing. Love it.
like growing up sort of like 90s kid or whatever, but it just I used to like even when teams I wasn't didn't necessarily support were involved,
Yeah.
I'd always watch it. I'd always make an effort to watch the final, and it always felt like such a big occasion. So whenever that draw comes about now, I'm
Yeah.
still absolutely like Brentford, like you mentioned, that was such a it was a great away day, because obviously we got the win, but it was just a funny away day as well. There
I
was
mean,
just so much random shit that happened on that day.
there's not many things I get excited by in football than the third round of the FA Cup. I remember
Yeah.
when, like, was it Graham Kelly, the FA Cup, FA used to do it, his squeaky voice and all that. I just remember, obviously, because we were the perennial underachievers, and then we became these FA Cup giant killers. You're thinking, who are we going to get? Who do we deserve? And sometimes you get the rub of the green, sometimes you didn't. And I remember on the way back from Brighton after we drew one each at Brighton in the cup, 2012, I want to say.
Yeah.
Um, and I was on the bus with Wayne from the Turf and all them, and we were listening to it on the M6 somewhere. The draw was being made, and they said, "Oh, Wrexham or Brighton will play Newcastle United," and the
Oh yeah.
bus just exploded. And this is
Yeah.
pre-Saudi Newcastle, so it
Yeah.
still gives you an idea that this massive club and they live it. I mean, I've been to Newcastle games because one of my friends is up there, and I've been to
Yeah.
Newcastle. And there are certain places that live and breathe football, and they are one of those.
Yeah.
100%. They are nothing without their football club. Honestly, they love it. Everything is about the football club. 100%.
So
Nothing else matters.
one of my close mates, he's a Wrexham season ticket holder, but he's also a Newcastle fan. He took me up there for a match, I think, probably more than 10 years ago now. I think someone like Amiobi was still playing for them. And Spurs, Gareth Bale was still playing for Spurs, so that gives you an idea of how long ago it was. But like you say, there's certain grounds you walk into. Like I had it one of my earliest away days walking into Hillsborough, and you just get
Hmm.
hit by the sense of history and occasion. And I got the same when I walked into St James's Park as well. It's
Yeah.
just so yeah, I'm going to be watching that one very, very eagerly.
And you get that Leeds, like you mentioned about Leeds and FA
Yeah,
Cup. Like just watched Leeds draw with Liverpool 3 each, great game. I went to Leeds once. I can't remember who they played. It was randomly. I was up there for a music festival and Leeds were playing. I was like, I'll just jump on that. I mean, like you say, you just go to ground and you think, fucking hell, this is a proper ground. Everybody's on it. Like everybody's like, I ain't sitting still. I will make as much noise as I can. I will get on the opposition players as much as I can. And it's just one of those where you go, fucking hell, this is what you want your ground to aspire to in terms of noise and being that melting pot of chaos and kind of really, really making the opposition feel uncomfortable. And we've been good at that in part in the past, but nowhere near to the levels that we can do, and we will do.
Yeah. So everybody keep your eyes on that draw, and hopefully it won't be as long as the World Cup one. Because I went to a gig in Manchester on last night, and me and my mate were in some bar somewhere watching the draw. I was like, they've not drawn, they've literally not done it yet. It was going on for hours. Like, we went to another place, it was like, nope, they've still not finished it. I was like, as long as it's not anything like that draw, I think we'll be fine though. We've got Ali McCoy's presenting it instead of Rio Ferdinand, so that should be all
Did Rio get that gig?
right.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
So looking forward to midweek then, and we've got the. I didn't realize that Hull is actually a fair old drive. I don't know
Oh,
why.
it's miles away.
Yeah,
Humberside's a
because
bitch to get to.
yeah, well, I looked at it. It's like 3 hour drive, isn't it? But on a good, but maybe on a decent drive.
Yeah,
If you hit it on the wrong day, it's
yeah.
longer than that. Um, but yeah, how are they doing at the minute?
I
Hull.
mean, they got pumped. They got pumped the other day. Was it yesterday or today? They got pumped 4-1 against home to Middlesbrough. So they're ninth at the moment, won eight, drawn four, lost seven. And it was the other day. I think they lost 4-1 to Hull. They were 3-0 down at 4-0 down at half time. Sorry,
Wow.
4-0 down at half time. Gelhardt, who was supposedly a target for Wrexham, he got one
Yeah,
back from penalty spot.
he's been
Um,
decent for them.
you can call it managerial bounce for Middlesbrough if you want, but that is a stinking defeat for Hull. They've lost two on the bounce at home. They lost 2-0 to Ipswich, obviously, who we drew with recently. Um, the last win came at Stoke, Gelhardt with the winner. Sort of cancel out Soberson's early strike. And they've had a mixed kind of time really. They lost at QPR, then they beat Hull at home. No, sorry, not Hull. They beat Portsmouth home. And they're all like high scoring games. Won 3-2, lost 3-2, lost 2-0, won 2-1, lost 4-1. So there's goals in them. 100%
Yeah,
there's goals in them. Um, so it's a hard one to kind of predict, in all honesty. I love the fact that obviously they were giving us an early welcome to the championship, albeit via the Carabao Cup medium earlier in the season. They were running away with it. It's like, all right, this is a disaster. And then Ollie Palmer, cometh the hour, cometh the man, rises off the bench like Lazarus, scores two unbelievably good headers, of which you won't find two better headed goals this season as his kind of last hurrah in a Wrexham shirt. And we sealed the deal on penalties. And was Jack Marriott with a winning penalty? I think, off the top of my head,
yeah. It
his
was.
last hurrah in a Wrexham shirt as well.
I enjoyed that game so much. It was
Oh
just
yeah,
good fun because they were giving it all the mauled by the Tigers thing and all that crap.
the worst ever, ever. Not so much the chant, but the movement as well. Come on, get a grip.
It's like supposedly they do it ironically, but I don't. I just thought I just can't take it seriously anyway. So I was coming out of the ground shouting, "You're getting scorched by the dragons."
That's good. You should
Yeah.
you should start that. It's good. It's good. I like that. Scorched by the dragons. Yeah.
It's one of
Somebody
those though,
somebody
like
can meme that. That's good.
you get a good image out of it. But it's one of those
Yeah.
with them, like you say, so I'm just looking at their recent form. So yeah, 3 defeats, 2 wins in there as well. And even though going in off the back of a loss, it's that sort of scalded cat thing where you don't know if it's a good time
Mate,
to
you know,
play them or
y-
not. I mean,
I mean, we're plus three goal difference. They're minus three goal difference. You get a point, you leapfrog them.
yeah,
Regardless of the results elsewhere. And it's just a mad division, right? We've only lost four. Sheffield United, who had a stinky start to the season, change of manager, Chris Wilder back. They've lost 11 games, right?
yeah,
And they are only 5 points behind us.
it's nuts.
So we're 12th with 27 points. Sheffield United are 18th with 22. It is quite literally crazy. And it's like you daren't not look over your shoulder in this division for fear of
Yeah,
getting caught. And it's like, Swansea have had a stinky sort of season so far. they've finally won a game today to kind of pull a little bit clear of the bottom three. Obviously, we've got them soon. So it's just a Southampton awful start, apart from beating
Yeah,
us, change of manager, and then they're above us on goal
yeah.
difference in
Shows
11th. So
how easily it can
yeah,
change. Um,
100%, 100%. And I think it's whoever blinks first. We're in that kind of situation at the moment.
it's one of those where it's like we'll probably go on to predictions. And it's like I would not know. I wouldn't even know where to begin trying to predict that game. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
one
I know.
point between us.
I know. It screams draw, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
I don't want
does.
us to get into double figures for draws just yet. I
Because
don't. I
then I
don't.
think yeah, I think if you carry it on, then it does almost become a problem just by virtue of you're the only team with like
Yeah.
however many
But
draws.
like, it does. But by the same token, it is a draw away against the team above you a bad result? I'd probably say no. If
As long
you
as
know,
I think as long as you win your home games,
yeah.
as
But
long
if
as
we
you
went
win
to
your home,
Sheffield Wednesday and we drew, people would naturally think, well, that's a shit result, really, because we should be
yeah,
pumping them because they're -10, which is a
yeah,
false position anyway in terms of the whole
yeah,
situation. I mean, they're never going to get out of it. They never were, but one step back for two steps forward, I guess. If we went to Oxford and didn't win or got a point, it's arguably a poor point. But I think not, avoiding defeat at Hull is not necessarily a bad situation to be in. I
yeah.
don't
I
know.
I don't know why I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win to us. I think I just fancy it because it would put us into a really good position going into the game against Watford, which again very similar. Well, at the moment they're only
Mm,
behind us on goal difference, I think. So
yeah.
I think if you win that game 2-1 away at Hull, it puts us into a really strong position going into that fixture. So yeah, I'll go 2-1. Broadhead to get one of them,
Mm.
and ooh, who's getting the other? Got to be Big Kiefer. Got to be Big Kiefer.
Oh, Big Chief. Yeah, I kind of feel similarly optimistic, and to see out this uber optimistic pod, I'm going to go with a win as well. I'm going to go with a win. You're getting scorched by the Dragons, trademark to Liam Randall. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna go for a cheeky 1-0. We're gonna go back to getting a clean sheet again. We're gonna nick one just after half time, and I think it's gonna be long overdue goal for George Dobson.
Ooh, we definitely
Yeah,
take that. Gorgeous
yeah.
George.
I was thinking about this the other day against Blackburn. We didn't have any free kicks around the box, on nothing in terms of direct free kicks, which is weird.
No,
I find that odd. I know we didn't score a direct free kick at all last season. So
no,
is
I
is
can't
that
recall
trend
one.
continuing? Have we scored a direct free kick this year again? I'm sure there is.
Answers in the comments section on that one. I think my brain is addled.
Nothing springs to mind though. I don't
Someone
know.
will name one now, and it'll be
Oh, it'd be
like,
obscure.
"How dare you forget this this
Yeah,
free kick?"
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, regardless, I think if we come out from Hull with nothing, it's not the end of the world, is it? It's just not
No,
the end of the world.
no,
It's just about if we do come from there with nothing, how you bounce back away from it, and we always tend to bounce back after a
yeah,
result which doesn't quite materialize with what we want. But I just kind of feel if Hull are as free scoring as they appear to be in terms of the recent results, and they pull forward, and that's going to leave gaps at the back, which I think we can potentially exploit,
yeah.
regardless of the
Fingers
lack of
crossed.
Kakachi and Kabore. So nice to see Ashfield feature at some point.
Yeah,
So yeah,
definitely. I
I'd
mean,
be good to see him feature in the FA Cup. And
Parky clearly rates him, and I don't doubt that whatsoever. And I think if he's got an opportunity to get him on the pitch, I think he will. He's just picking the right,
yeah,
the right moment, and maybe, like you say, that's where it comes.
right. Shall we do a little mini pod upon reaction of draw? Are we going to set
Yeah,
ourselves up for that now? So we have to do it.
yeah, let's do
Let's
that.
do that. Okay. So dial back in here on Monday in the immediate aftermath of that, and we will knock together
When we're
what we
all
think.
gutted to get Shrewsbury.
Yeah. 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 Imagine it. Fucking hell. No way. Oh, it'll
Happy
be
times.
fine. It
We
can't be
we are happy
Chester.
though. We're all happy. So
Like your third round of the FA Cup automatically. It's kind of like the stuff dreams are made of. Great,
Let's leave it
great.
on that positive note.
Yeah.
Um, we want people to, what do we want them to do? We want them to like us. We
Like,
want
subscribe, tell us that this has been too long or too short. Um,
insult Andy
yeah,
Gilpin.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, where in the world is Andy Gilpin? Just
Yeah,
just put a pin in a map and see where he is. He's bound to be around there somewhere. What else is Arthur up there with the best you've seen?
yeah,
That's a strong talking point. And Parky, we mentioned, didn't we cover it? But Parky, 200 games up from the Blackburn game. Um, I like to include them all, so it was kind of past then. But in 200 league games, his record is ridiculous, and
nearly 60% win
I,
ratio.
yeah, I like the fact he's silencing so many doubters. Not least those fine gents at the second tier pod who put him as 24th best manager that they would
Ooh,
have in
only
terms of their
24.
clubs, only 24th. But we're not going to labour that point every week. Um,
Needless to say, we'll have the last laugh.
Look, I can understand why people would assume he would struggle at this level because they're going to go to what's happened before, but very different scenarios, and he didn't have the tools with which he's got to work with right now. So, if he doesn't quite pull it off this year, then maybe there's weight to the argument. But what are we? 12th, 3 points of sixth. Um, First time in 43 years at this level. Oh, come on. Come on, we're overachieving, really.
Yeah,
Really. Give or
up
take, you
up
know.
the 200 game Parky Reds.
Well, up the worst team to visit Deepdale this century, Reds. To quote
This
one,
century.
he said, this is the worst team I've seen play at Preston this century.
How old is this fella?
Exactly. He's like, this guy's like getting his carer to write it out for him because he's like 112. What are these people on? Like, we're gonna have to run a competition like who are the most whinging fan base that
There's
we've
been a
come up
lot
against.
lately.
There's been a lot. Like nobody likes it when they don't beat us, and it's like, well, we can't beat them, so it's got to be the referee's fault. We
Yeah,
can't.
the
It's not a case of
referee.
we can't beat them because we're not good enough, or we can't beat them because their goalkeeper's amazing. It's we
Yeah,
can't beat them because of some other wild dynamic that's got nothing to do with the actual kind of nuts and bolts of an actual football match. It's just wild. But I think we'll stick Preston up in for like easily top three at the moment.
yeah.
I'm not sure who else would be up there. And there's been a few. Blackburn,
Blackburn were
yeah,
pretty.
but they're too busy having their games called off because they haven't got a pitch decent enough to hold that. What I'd love to be a fly on the wall and Valerian. What's his name? Is it Valerie Valerian?
Ishmael.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his lounge tonight. He beat
He's in
absolutely
touch with the
steamrolled.
grounds person and the facilities management as we speak.
Overnight meme as well with that list he's held up to the camera. He's having a
When I
field day
talk
with
about
that.
fat,
Yeah. Yeah. Bad move. Anyway, right. We've laboured the point. Happy days. And we've won a point. That's even happier days. So yeah, up the Reds, up the Parkied the Bus Reds. And wherever you are, Gilpin, you've trademarked that one. Anything to add? Is that it? We covered?
no, that's it, I think.
Nice one. Well, we'll speak to you all on Monday regarding Cup Draw. Let's hope for a good one because trying to make an exciting one against Grimsby. Well, yeah, that'd be semi-exciting. That'd be a revenge,
We've
exacting
committed now.
revenge one.
We've committed.
Yeah, we've committed. We'll come back and we'll chew the fat and we'll figure it out. But until then, thank you for listening to our witterings and take care and speak soon.
All hail King Arthur.